All right, guys, you can see we are draining, and one of the things I noticed, you see all these leaks. You got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the reason for this is because this is the end piece, and it gets folded up really tight. And as these hoses get old, they start to get a little bit less pliable, a little more crusty, and you don't want these leaks getting too big. This one actually is getting pretty big. I'm gonna go ahead and let it drain this one last drain, and then I'm actually gonna cut it. I'm gonna go follow my leaks down, mark it with the Sharpie, and when I'm all finished with this drain today, I'm gonna actually cut this hose and throw this little section away. All right, guys, and when you're draining a pool, you always want to use the sewer that's closest to the home. You can see the home here. This is closest to the home. Here's your second sewer, and then further on down is the street. And the reason why is this sewer clean out access here goes down about 2 or 3 feet and then curves towards the street. And you want that water to go down and curve towards the street and then down into the main sewer line. This one actually goes down 2 or 3 feet and curves towards the house. And the reason for that is if there's ever a backup in this sewer system, a plumber can come out here, put a snake down in there and hit that curve and go towards the house. So he can scope it with a camera or just a snake trying to, get the debris, the blockage out of the way. But you don't want to put your pool drainage in here and shoot it towards the house, because you could back up or even flood the property. And if you ever see one that's parallel to the house, let's just say, for example, you had 2 caps like this. There we go, get them both in the screen. What you would do is actually take the caps off, put a flashlight in, and see if you can find which one slopes to the street. And sometimes you'll actually see they both slope to the house. And the reason for that is they actually slope to the house, and then they catch a main drain, and one of those will go down and one of them will go up to the house, but you can't tell which is which. So in that situation, just take both your caps off and then go ahead and put your pool drain hose in either one of them. It doesn't matter which one, as long as you have both caps off so that the other one can vent, you will get it down to the street eventually. And in that situation, I would tell the customer, hey, keep an eye on your drains when this is starting up. Make sure there's no backup. But I've never once heard of it backing up, as long as you have both vent caps off. I always take both vent caps off either, no matter what. Even if I know which one is going to the street, I'm gonna take them both off so that it vents. Just allows the water to flow to the street a little bit better. All right, guys, another tip when you're draining a pool, you never want to use service mode. You see, I've got it in service mode just for the time being because I wanted to get that pump started. But I would never leave this property like this. And the reason why is if this system has a power outage while I'm gone, and then the power gets restored, it's actually going to go back into regular auto mode. So when you're draining a pool, you don't want to just rely on service mode. You actually want to cut your power. So you see here it says filter pump. I'm going to turn that off. So now if this pool experiences a power outage and then it comes back on, the pump cannot come on. We don't want this pump turning on with an empty pool. That could be bad news. And then the last tip is when you have a salt cell like we've got here, you need to go in and disable it. You don't want to have that salt cell turning on until you have all your salt back in the pool. Once you get your salt back up to 32 to 3,500 parts per million, then you can go ahead and turn that salt cell back on. If you have that salt cell on and there's no salt in the pool, you could burn that cell out. And you don't want to do that. All right, let's go ahead and go in here. See if we can find it. I don't remember what menu it's in, but I think we will find it. this one, we'll go ahead and turn that down to 0. But I think there's actually, oh, it says off, maybe that's fine. It seems like I remember there being a way to go ahead and just disable the chlorinator. Let's see if we can find that while we're in here. Maybe it's in, not in timers, let's see. Settings, I think that's where we just were. Diagnostic, I don't actually, chlorinator off. Yeah, that's where it is. So looks like it went ahead and did it for me because I turned it down to 0. But that's all we need. You know, you could actually unplug this too, and then the problem with that is you don't want to get any water in here, so I like to leave that plugged in. Okay, so this is all disabled. That pump's not turning on. Only thing that's on is the GFI, which I'm running power for the sump pump to drain it. Now I need to turn the water off. Okay, so here comes out of the house. This one I leave on. There's a little diaphragm in there, and I've noticed if you turn this one off and this one off, sometimes when you go to turn it back on, this diaphragm will dry out and leak. So I usually will leave this one on to keep all this wet, but I turn this one off so no water's going to the pool. And we're draining. I'll be back in about 7 hours. Start filling this pool. All right guys, one last tip. The reason why we're actually draining this pool is a really nice pool, but this is a salt pool. And you can see in the corner, if I zoom in, there's some white flakes. It actually looks a lot like salt, like if you were to dump in some salt and it hasn't been brushed in yet, just some white flakes. But the cause of this, you have to have 2 things. Number 1, you have to have a salt pool, and number 2, you have to have really high TDS, total dissolved solids, basically old water. So if you have old water and a salt cell, then you can get these white flakes. They don't actually hurt anything, but you know, most customers don't like them. They're kind of an eyesore, and when you get them, the only thing you can do is drain the pool. So that's what we're doing today. Anyways guys, I make these videos for you because basically when you get into the pool industry, you realize that you get a lot of on-the-job training that, well, I should say on-the-job training that doesn't actually exist. And what I mean by that is, you know, you might get 2, 3, 4 weeks, you know, working with a guy, then they send you out on your own and they just say, hey, give me a call if you need help. The problem with that is you just don't know what you don't know. So how are you going to call if you don't know that you need help or you're doing it wrong? So I make these little short videos hoping that you, you know, you young techs, and I also have my new hires watch them. And it's just a way to get them exposed to the industry and kind of teach you what you don't know. And hopefully you learn something and you realize, oh shoot, I was doing that wrong, or I wasn't doing that as, you know, the right way. I can do it better. So that's the point of these videos. I hope you enjoy them. If you do, give me a thumbs up and I'll keep making them. Hopefully one day I'll have a massive library of on-the-job training, you know, short 2-minute videos. Guys can just watch one a day and, you know, become a better pool tech. All right guys, that's all I have for you. So I'll talk to you next time. See ya.